Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ACW Newscast this week. I am Hakeem Johnson, your ACW commentator as always, and this is ACW Newscast number 45, as we are showing you guys and uploading this ACW Newscast a few hours before, or even a few minutes before, however you're watching this today, ACW Apocalypse, which will be tonight, this Friday night, July 18th, and we're going to go over the official match card for the ACW Apocalypse Mega Event one last time to get you guys hyped up. Also, we're going to go through your questions and comments you guys sent me. You guys sent me a lot of comments and questions this week that I will do my best to answer. And also, we're going to dwell into an issue that I kind of brought up this week on my Facebook page, facebook.com/animecwrestling for those that don't know. But I brought this issue up this week about how it's 2014, and in the WWE, there hasn't been a black WWE champion in that company's almost 60-year history of existing. We're going to dwell into that issue, that topic, and talk about some of the pros and cons of that, honestly. But first of all, we're going to talk about ACW Apocalypse. It's coming up to you guys on Blip TV and Veoh. It'll be available and uploaded on Blip TV and Veoh in just a couple of hours or a couple of minutes, however you're watching this, like I said. And we're going to go over the match card. So first of all, thank you guys for appreciating the newscast. Sorry. Thank you guys for appreciating the ACW Apocalypse pre-show that was uploaded this week between Rin and Kyo. Just going by general consensus, you guys enjoyed Rin's debut in ACW Apocalypse, and I thank you guys for that. So expect to see a lot of Rin, more specifically in the Cruiserweight division there at Impulse. But thank you guys for the support and the views and the comments you guys gave towards that. I appreciate that. But anyway, let's go over the official match card right now. So first of all, you got a tag team match between Choji Akamichi and Kankuro going against the Beybladers, Tyson Granger and Kai Watari. And if you guys have been seeing the recent episodes of Impulse, Choji Akamichi and Kankuro have been attacking Tyson and Kai these past few weeks on Impulse, and now, Tyson and Kai, I would not seem to think that they are 100% going into this match. So they're going to be on an uphill battle against the team of Choji and Kankuro. But we're going to find out which one of these two can possibly win this match. Maybe possibly this being a #1 contenders match for the Impulse Tag Team titles. We don't know. But it's going to be interesting to say the least which team prevails. Also, for the ACW Cruiserweight Championship, it will be Joe Higashi defending his Cruiserweight title against Dennis. Dennis has been showing a lot of momentum. He's been showing a lot of energy and showing a lot of will that he's going to be the new Cruiserweight Champion come Apocalypse in a couple of hours. But you cannot deny the fact that Joe Higashi, ever since winning that title at Victory against Ryoma Edgison, he has been the pillar of the Cruiserweight division. He's been putting on these almost match of the years, arguably match of the year matches on ACW Mega events. So Dennis has a lot riding on here. Will he be the one to dethrone Joe Higashi, or will Joe Higashi keep making a name for himself? Despite what you may think of Joe Higashi, the fact remains that Higashi has been coming up on top, and his talent exceeds what people expect from him. So it's going to be really hard for Dennis. It's not going to be a cakewalk for Dennis, but I would say for the same thing for Joe Higashi. Dennis has a lot of momentum, and sometimes you just can't beat momentum. Sometimes talent cannot overcome momentum. So that'll be something to witness between Higashi and Dennis. Also, the ACW Impulse Tag Team titles will also be on the line, as Earthbound's Ness and Lucas will defend their titles against the team of Anime 4Kids' Ash Ketchum and Brock. Now, Ness and Lucas have been the ACW Impulse Tag Team Champions since I believe about Impulse 28. I might be getting that wrong. I'm just going on off the top of my head, but I think since Impulse 28, which is around 2 years ago, they've been the Impulse Tag Team Champions, defeating the White Tigers. But then you got this team of Anime 4Kids, a bunch of corporate sellouts. You're talking about Ash Ketchum and Brock, two people that a lot of people that have grown up now to my age, or even older, or maybe even younger, people that were considered childhood heroes to you guys, and now they have sold out in the name of fame, in the name of money, in the name of success. They've thrown all their moral and ethics out the window. And they are willing to do that just to become the Impulse Tag Team Champions. I mean, this is the team that ran out the Straw Hat Crew, beat them, and ran them out for even a temporary or maybe even a permanent time. So we're going to find out if Anime 4Kids can back up what they've been claiming as they are here to take over the Impulse Tag Team division. Also, another question that comes into mind. Ash and Brock have been talking about that they have a personal advisor that is advising them, obviously, to act a certain way and present themselves in a certain way. Who the hell is this advisor? There have been a lot of guesses. There have been a lot of speculation. Some that I didn't even think of, thanks to you fans that have been guessing, and then there's others that are like, oh my goodness, I might have a hunch, and I hope it's not who I think it is. Yeah, so we have no idea who this advisor is. We have no idea where this is going to come from, but apparently Anime 4Kids says that we will find out the advisor at Apocalypse coming up in a few hours. And we're going to find out if Anime 4Kids will actually win the Impulse Tag Team titles here, or will Earthbound keep going the steady pace as being one of the best Impulse Tag Team champions ever. Also, we want to talk about personal rivalries. We've got Gara going one-on-one against Edward Elric in a hardcore match. This stems back from Gara and Edward Elric having a personal match that way too at Victory in 2011. That was about almost 2.5 years ago, where Gara defeated Edward Elric in that match. And I believe Edward Elric has not forgotten that loss. So Edward Elric has came back for Gara's head and to get a victory over Gara to at least tie up this personal feud between each other. And now for people doubting Edward Elric, you guys gotta understand, Edward Elric has been in these type of matches before. Who can forget High Voltage in 2007 when he fought Trunks in one of those great ladder matches that was in ACW's early period? You know, he just fought Ness at the E3 Expo just a couple of weeks ago in an Extreme Rules match. And that was as bloody and hardcore as you can get. So now you add to the fact that Edward has that, and he has a personal riff with Gara. It can get very, very intense very, very quick. But then you look at Gara, you're talking about a former XL champion that was drafted to Impulse in 2008, and he's looking to get back onto the mountain. He's looking to get back on top of the mountain. So he might have to go through Edward Elric to put that issue aside and then start focusing on the issue at hand. So who's going to win this match? It's a toss-up. It's honestly a toss-up if you think about it. Think about these two guys' history and their personal rivalry between each other. It's a toss-up. And you're going to find out who's going to win at ACW Apocalypse. Also, for the ACW Television Championship, we've got Sagat, the challenger, going one-on-one against the ACW Television Champion Mugen. Now, this is coming off from Sagat winning that triple threat match against Gara, himself, and Edward Elric at Impulse 33. And being able to be the #1 contender for Mugen's television title. Now, Mugen, what a story Mugen has had these past couple of years. I mean, you're talking to a guy that all he knows how to do is fight, drink beer, fight, eat, drink beer, and fight some more. But he was really crystallized here in ACW when he went one-on-one against Broly, who was the television champion at the time and was undefeated at that time as well. Now, granted, Trunks made his return and interfered in that match to help Mugen win, but Mugen still beat Broly. He broke Broly's undefeated streak, and he took the television title away from him. That's nothing to really overlook at. That's nothing really to undercut. So now Mugen faces himself with a similar dilemma. You're looking at a challenger who is undefeated ever since debuting here in ACW. If you recall, Sagat debuted here in ACW through the 2011 King of Elite tournament for the Impulse brand and won it all. Defeated Ryu in the finals, was the 2011 King of Elite. And then since then he's been an undefeated competitor. So Mugen finds himself in another dilemma. Can he break this undefeated streak here and retain his retain his television title, or will Sagat be the one to end the quote-unquote Cinderella story of Mugen and win his first ever singles title here in ACW Apocalypse? We'll find out. But then we get to the main event, and there's a lot of things riding here at stake. It's going to be the same regime's Broly and the current reigning and defending Impulse champion Gohan in a hardcore tag team tornado match against the team of Ryu and Trunks. Now the catch here in the stipulation is if Ryu or Trunks is able to pin or submit Gohan in that match, they will officially become the #1 contenders for that title and can challenge for that title anytime, anywhere. So think of it as a Money in the Bank type of stipulation for them if they won that match. But regardless, this comes from Gohan winning the Impulse title at Animania 2, betraying Naruto Uzumaki, put him out for action when we still don't even know when our Naruto is coming back. And he's been running roughshod through Impulse ever since. And you think about the fact that he's now enlisted Vegeta, he's enlisted Broly to create this unholy alliance called the Saiyan Regime, who is here to bring their Saiyan race to the forefront and dominate all opposers combined. Now, Gohan has had matches with Ryu, but in those 3 encounters, Gohan has found some way to retain his Impulse title. You look back at ACW Victory in 2011, their first encounter, Vegeta interfered for Gohan and retained the title. Fusion in 2012, Ryu Gohan 2, Broly was the one that interfered in that match and helped Gohan retain the title. This couple of weeks ago in Impulse 33, Ryu Gohan 3 in a steel cage match, despite Broly and Vegeta being occupied by the likes of Goku and Trunks. When Goku smashed Vegeta's face into the electrical box, it caused a short electrical outage. And Gohan did something within that dark outage that we don't even know he did to be able to escape the cage, put down Ryu, and win and retain the Impulse title. So for Ryu, there's a lot of history and an animosity that he has going into this match. But then you look at a guy like Trunks. Trunks, here's a guy that was injured for almost 3 years thanks to the likes of Broly. He came back, took out Broly in Fusion in 2012. Now he's coming back here, getting an opportunity to team with Ryu, yes, but also possibly fighting for the Impulse title at any given moment if he is able to pin or submit Gohan. So a lot is riding in this match. This could be a changing tide for the Impulse brand. Does the Saiyan Regime still maintain the power by winning this match and there is no official #1 contender? Or does Ryu or Trunks able to beat Gohan, hopefully, to where they can go after Gohan, in Ryu's case again, or Trunks for the first time ever for that Impulse title, and try to bring that title away from the Saiyan Regime? There's a lot of things riding at stake here. The balance of Impulse can change hands here with this entire match. And I couldn't think of an appropriate name like our mega event Apocalypse. And that will be Apocalypse, which will be available and uploaded to you guys in just a few minutes or a few hours, only on Blip TV and Veoh. And apparently you guys want Apocalypse just on Veoh and Blip TV. I kind of asked that question this week that there were some people that wanted to see if they wanted Apocalypse to be uploaded on YouTube. So I put the question to you guys, and while some of you guys had certain debates, I guess the majority thought that we should keep Apocalypse and mega events in the future on Blip TV and Veoh. So I will listen to the fans. I always listen to the fans, and I will do so until the time being. So you guys will see ACW Apocalypse on Blip TV and Veoh tonight. So that is the ACW Apocalypse card. Hopefully you guys get hyped. Hopefully, guys, I see you guys there tonight. Hopefully, we have a good time. A really fun 2-hour show, 2-hour roller coaster, which should be very, very interesting. So, hopefully, you guys are there, and hopefully, we can do a lot of things. So, with that being said, now it is time to go for your guys' questions and comments here today. Now, we had a lot of questions and comments for you guys today on the newscast, and I do appreciate that. We're going to go through certain questions and comments on Facebook here. And I'm going to read one of them right now. Matt E. Dangerously, a.k.a. UCC owner, who owns Ultimate COD Championship Wrestling. You guys check that out on YouTube. Probably one of the best young COD leagues out there right now. Any thoughts about the upcoming UCCW Friday Night Showdown? I'm looking forward to it. I will be watching that show. I know that Friday Night Showdown will be competing with ACW Apocalypse tomorrow night, and I gotta say I appreciate stuff like that because it's not in terms of an ill will towards one another. It's helping COD leagues in general. You know, you've given all these people, you give the fans options to watch COD leagues. There was a certain period in COD after the golden age of COD, which was like around 2004, between 2004 and 2008. I believe. There was a certain period, I think around 2011, 12-ish, that COD was just not it was just not as prevalent and um positive, I want to say, as it used to be. But now in 2014, you've got all these colleagues, whether they're original colleagues or fantasy colleagues. You've got a spectrum of shows that you can watch. You can watch UCCW or TNXA or WWE TV, or you can watch stuff like TAW or AWAC or SCAW as a long-standing call, or VWF when it comes back, or ACW obviously. And you got the Magic Nation. You've got stuff like Code of Honor. You've got DZW. You've got all these other things, WEDF even. So you got a lot of options to watch certain colleagues, and I like that. I am looking forward to Friday Night Showdown. I will be looking forward to Sailor Moon, still remaining undefeated, because she is a 2008 ACW Hall of Fame inductee, a legend in the call world. She should never be undefeated. Never, 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 never. So I'm looking forward to that. And leading into that question, the second question was, and what is your thoughts about Date Alive and a new Pretty Guard Sailor Moon Crystal? I have not watched Date Alive. I've heard a lot of things about it, but I just haven't personally watched it. I'm sure if the timing is right and I have the interest of it, that I'll eventually check into it and look up on it. But I just haven't watched it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I just haven't watched it. And in terms of the new Sailor Moon series, I'm enjoying it so far. The first episode, I liked it a lot. Staying true to the manga, which I've kind of looked upon and read a couple of times in the past. It's been a while since I've read the manga though, but from what I can remember, it's sticking towards the manga more so than the original 1992-ish Sailor Moon. Apparently this upcoming episode, Sailor Mercury is going to be introduced, which I'm looking forward to. Sailor Moon was probably my favorite character between the Sailor Scouts, the Sailor Senshi, so looking forward to that. I thought the animation looks beautiful, by the way. I need to give credit for that. I think a lot of people are unreasonably complaining and bitching about the animation, knowing that it's 2014 and you need to move on from certain things. Hell, they got a new Tom and Jerry show. Hell, I wish they had the old school Tom and Jerry animation, but then I realized it's 2014. We need to move on from the past. We can't build a future unless you move on from the past. So I enjoyed the Sailor Moon series so far. Hopefully it continues the way it does. The only gripe I might have about it is that it's a new episode every other week. So it's a new episode this Saturday, and then you gotta wait 2 weeks until the new episode. That's gonna kind of be a bit of a stall process in a way. But if we get used to it, then we'll get used to it. So I'm enjoying the Sailor Moon series. I'm a fan of it right now. Hugh Goncalves. I'm sorry if I botched the last name. I really do apologize. But he asked 2 questions as well. What are your thoughts about the return of Captain Falcon, the newcomers Robin, Lucina, and Rayman as a trophy in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS? First off, Captain Falcon, yes, awesome. Captain Falcon, one of the most iconic Smash characters of all time, in my opinion. One of the most famous and popular ones of all time. It would have been a crime if he was not included in this year's Smash. I always enjoyed playing Captain Falcon. He could be a little fast for me to control, but I just enjoy Captain Falcon. That trailer was awesome. His Falcon Punch looks epic this year, so I will enjoy playing Captain Falcon as always. He's a veteran. He had to be in there. And as thoughts of Robin and Lucina as the newcomers, boy, it's looking like a Fire Emblem takeover this year for Smash Bros. Honestly, I kind of posted on Facebook the picture of the Fire Emblem characters' faces on like the NWO pictures, because that's what it feels like to me. It feels like the Fire Emblem characters this year are getting a lot of bones thrown at them. You got now Lucina and Robin as newcomers. You've got the return of Marth, Ike looking buff as hell as ever. I'm sure Lynn's gonna be a assist trophy, and even and we still don't even know if Chrome's gonna be in there or not. I doubt he's gonna be there. He's probably gonna be safe for the next game, but we don't even know really. So and you can play the female Robin as well. So for a lot of Fire Emblem fans that complained and bitched about Fire Emblem not getting represented in the past Smash games, you're getting that now. It's kind of hard to do so this year. So I enjoyed the Fire Emblem series, and I'm glad that they're getting their just dues. And as for Rayman as a trophy, what that means to me is that they're starting to set the stage for Raymond to be a Smash character, a playable Smash character for next year. I think it's coming. I've, I've Raymond. I've always been indifferent, to be honest with you. Like, I've never hated Raymond, or I just never, I never got the appeal. Let's put it that way. I know of Raymond. I know who Raymond is, and I know the games. So I don't hate Raymond or anything. It's just I never got the appeal. I never got the hype that people had for Raymond as a character, especially for a Smash playable character. I get it for the likes of a Mega Man or a Pac-Man, but for Raymond, I don't know. It just I just don't kind of get it, in my opinion. But it's clearly setting up Raymond's presence as a playable Smash character next year, possibly. So you have that. And his second question was, since the FIFA World Cup Brazil 2014 has ended, what are your thoughts about it? Well, first things first, congratulations go to Germany for winning the whole World Cup this year. They deserve it. They came out of a harsh round. They came out of a harsh group that was consisted of Portugal, USA, and Ghana. So for them to really be the head of the class in that group and then just go on to dominate, especially towards one team that I was rooting for. But nonetheless, Germany played well. They showed why they are possibly or arguably the greatest international soccer team going today. And Kroos, as always, is just a great player just to watch. No wonder he's getting all the press, and he deserves it. Congratulations also go to Argentina for putting up a valiant effort. Everybody, including myself, especially since my team Brazil was gone, thought this would be Messi's year, that Messi would win the World Cup for the first time in his career, that him winning the World Cup could possibly put him in argument with who's the better Argentina player of all time with Maradona. So I was hoping that Messi would get that win. He didn't. I think he got the Golden Cup anyways, but he didn't get the win. And that's fine. Messi has nothing to be ashamed of. He really doesn't have anything to be ashamed of. He played a valiant game. He played his heart out throughout the entire World Cup, and he deserves all the accolades he's going to get as well. So, and he can always come back and always in another 4 years and really shine like he always does. Messi, to me, is still the greatest soccer player out there right now, and it's kind of hard to argue that. Some will say Ronaldo, some will say Neymar. I think Messi is the best soccer player out there right now. So, or football player of all time. I mean, of right now. I said all time. No. Brazil. That's the story of the World Cup, honestly, to me. Now people are gonna. Now I rooted for Brazil throughout the entire cup because that's the team that I've always rooted for since I was a kid. Then I rooted for Nigeria because that's where my parents were born and raised from, so I rooted for them as well. But Brazil hosted this year's World Cup, and for them to go out the way they went out is almost inexcusable. Now, I know people are going to sit here and say, well, they didn't have Neymar anymore. He had a injured vertebrae, so, Well, if Neymar was out and there was nothing they could do, how strong is the Brazilian national team how strong is the Brazilian national team then? If the reliance was on Neymar to carry them to the World Cup finals, and he was out and there was nobody else to take them there, then what does that make the Brazilian national team? I think, and as much as I'm a Brazilian fan, it hurt to watch that Germany game and to see them get the ass whipping that I saw in that game. 7-1. 7-1. Nobody can even argue that they played their heart out. They just didn't care. They didn't even try. So I was like, yeah, Brazil doesn't deserve to win the finals. If that's how they really feel, they feel like Neymar was their only hope and they can't really find any other way to win, then they don't deserve to win the World Cup. They couldn't even put that effort to win the third place against the Netherlands. Which congratulations go to them as well for winning third place and playing pretty well throughout the entire World Cup. But Brazil was completely embarrassed and utterly shamed, as they should be. And you can tell the cracks of the Brazilian team were there, but you would think an experienced team like Brazil would able to patch those things up, especially on their home turf, and they didn't do it. They they fell into pieces and broke away, and they ultimately deserve it. I think this World Cup, if anything, has stated that Brazil can no longer be assumed as a always viable World Cup Finals contender, in my opinion. I think the Brazilian stronghold of international soccer was broken this year. I think Brazil has a lot of work to do. I think Brazil has a lot of things they need to work on very, very, very soon. I hope Neymar recovers, but man, even if Neymar was there, you could have done better than what you did in this World Cup. What a crappy way to finish the 2014 World Cup for Brazil. That was inexcusable. To let your home turf and to let your people down like that, and not to put even half the effort that you supposedly said you did, is downright disgraceful. No excuse, no other way to put it. And that's coming from a Brazilian fan myself. It's just the way it is. The USA did a really great job. They did a good showing this year as well. They did way better than they did, I believe, in 2010 for the World Cup. I think that is a team that is really building themselves up to be a possible, I don't know, Final Four team. Now, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of MLS soccer. I'm just not. I think MLS soccer is weak compared to like the English league, English Premier Leagues and Spanish Premier Leagues and other international games. I just think MLS is just weak, and I think people that just really watch that stuff are just looking for a way to be different when they don't even really like the sport. That's my opinion. So, but otherwise, I think the U.S. did very well. Tim Howard was the star of that team, especially during the end with those saves. My goodness. But that is a team that can really come back and really show that they've improved. But it's going to be a while until they actually win a trophy. So I would tell the USA team to stick to their guns and not fall off from where they were. I'm just glad in a way, I'm kind of glad they got eliminated, so I didn't have to hear all these bandwagon football fans try to, actually think they give a crap about soccer, and then after they got eliminated, they don't. I was on Twitter after the USA got eliminated like a week later. I didn't even hear nearly as enough World Cup coverage from my friends than I did when the US were on there. So, then again, football season's coming up, so there's that too. So thank you for Hugo for your questions there. More Facebook questions here. Gary Connell Jr. asks me, what did you think of CM Punk walking out of the WWE? In my opinion, I hated how he did it, but I understand why, mostly because of the fact that he's been taking major damage on his body, and the company itself wasn't really pushing new talent. The CM Punk situation. Well, for some, many know that CM Punk's contract expired this week, so now he is officially a free agent, no longer signed with the WWE. And apparently, according to CM Punk's tweets and status as of right now, he's a retired professional wrestler. He's kind of doing other things right now. Rumors that he might be doing a podcast, which I might check out. I don't even really watch a lot of wrestler podcasts. I just really don't, but I might check it out for CM Punk to see if there's interest. But that whole situation. Look, I understand, and this is coming from a CM Punk fan that's followed him since the ROH days, but I understand CM Punk had a lot of frustration that, he's had nagging injuries. His body, you can tell during his last few months in the WWE that he was just worn down. He was tired. He looked like he was going to break down any second. You can just tell. And I get that the nagging injuries were just piling up on him. He was getting really sore, really tired. I understand that, he was rumored to be wrestling Triple H at WrestleMania 30, and he felt that he wasn't going to be profiled into a main event spot like he thought he would. He thought the pay wouldn't be great because the WWE Network now is a different paying method than it was with the traditional pay-per-view paydays, so that could have been also a factor. Creative decision as well. CM Punk was kind of floating there by the time he left, so I can understand CM Punk's issues. But what I fail to understand, though, is why couldn't CM Punk, if he knew he was going to leave, why couldn't he put anybody over? I wrestle. I'm a pro wrestler too. I've been training for 2 years now, so that's kind of how the hiatus began. But as you guys know, but in my opinion, in this business, why wouldn't you put anybody over on your way out? That's the old mentality. You could have put over a Bray Wyatt before you left. You could have put over a Roman Reigns, a Seth Rollins, a Dean Ambrose, a Big E Langston, the Cesaro. CM Punk was preaching about how he wanted change in the WWE, that the young talent should rise and take over the WWE as the voice of the voiceless, but yet he couldn't put over anybody on his way out. And he wants to also bitch about him not getting the main event spot. Well, look, Batista was coming back. You knew he was going to get a main event spot. Randy Orton was a champion. You knew he was going to get a main event spot. So if you put one and one together, that would mean CM Punk wasn't going to be anywhere near that main event scene. And CM Punk knows that him working with Triple H was going to benefit him, because what happened with that last time? Wasn't that the time when the Summer of Punk angle started to suck? Do you guys remember the Summer of Punk in 2011 in the WWE? Where it was looking like it was going to be this new era and it was just going to just explode the WWE into new things, and then he loses the title to to ADR at SummerSlam 2011 thanks to Kevin Nash. ADR cashes in. Then CM Punk goes on to lose to Triple H in the next pay-per-view event. And then he loses another tag team match the next main event, and in the next pay-per-view event. So CM Punk needs to understand that there are certain things in this business that are going to have to go down and happen. That's just the way the business works. If The Rock's going to come in and main event, then it's good for business, because The Rock brings in money. That's what this business is about. Money. That's the #1 goal, to make as much money as you can. And CM Punk knows that. He just knows that he wasn't going to get paid much. He knows that he wasn't going to be profiled as much as a Batista, or Randy Orton, or Triple H, or The Undertaker, or Brock Lesnar, or hell, even Daniel Bryan. It was pretty much his year, or John Cena, or even Bray Wyatt. CM Punk knew he was going to be one of the lower tier marquee names of WrestleMania 30. He wasn't going to main event. He wasn't going to win the WWE World Heavyweight title. It is what it is. You can rise from it, or you can take your ball and go home. And he did. So I understand CM Punk's concerns and reasons as to why he possibly left, but I don't agree with how he left. I don't agree with how he did it. He couldn't even show up to Chicago at the Rosemont, or to Rosemont near Chicago, on the road to WrestleMania 30 to tell the fans goodbye. But I can watch him on the Talking Dead when he was filming that in LA. So CM Punk, as much as I understand his frustrations, needs to understand that this is a business, and there are certain things in this business that are going to happen that don't go your way. Tough shit. You just have to deal with it. If you can't deal with it, leave. And I need to address this as well. For all the people that keep chanting CM Punk during Monday Night Raw and on WWE special events, shut the hell up. Because what you're doing is enforcing the fact that CM Punk doesn't care about you, but yet you keep chanting his name. I don't understand that. You're chanting his name during Bray Wyatt promos, Daniel Bryan matches, Shield matches. You're chanting his name during other segments when you know CM Punk's not going to come back, and even if you chant as loud as you can, the WWE doesn't listen to you. They can edit your chants. They can just pretty much not even, acknowledge it. Quit being hipster douchebag. CM Punk is gone. Accept it. If CM Punk does come back for a part-time run, cool, that's fine. We can all be excited. But until then, shut the hell up. Take that energy that you cheer with CM Punk and put it instead of chanting for CM Punk, put that energy on, Roman Reigns, or Bray Wyatt, or Seth Rollins, or Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, Big E Langston, Rusev. Put those energies onto those guys that are still there and that are still trying to get over and that are still trying to make a name for themselves. Don't put it on somebody that left and ultimately didn't care about you at the end of the day. That makes you look like a douchebag. And that makes you look stupid. So I just hate that mentality. Just stop. You're not doing a damn thing. You're the same people that bitch about the WWE's problems, yet you still watch the shows. And I talked about this last week. You're the same people that will bitch and complain about how John Cena is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, how Triple H is still on television, how Randy Orton's still main eventing, and how the likes of Roman Reigns are getting a super push, and how the WWE is just crap, Tag Team Division, Divas Division, Mid-Card Division, they all suck, and yet you still watch the shows, you still pay to watch the shows live, you still pay for the WWE Network, you still buy their merchandise. That makes no absolute sense whatsoever. You want to make change, you hit them where it hurts, and that's in their wallet. You stop buying the WWE Network. You stop buying their merchandise. You stop mentioning the WWE. You don't give them a rating view and make them watch their shows. You don't pay for the, you don't pay to get in for the arena. Oh, I'm gonna turn around and just not watch John Cena. You still pay to get into the arena, so they still got your money. After they got your money, they no longer care about what you think. You can boo John Cena to Kingdom Come. You've been doing it for a decade, and John Cena is still the man in WWE. It's time to think, people. What do you guys want to be? Do you guys want to be doers or sayers? You can't be both. Pick one. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the CM Punk situation. Darian Rouse asked me, what do you think of the new WWE 2K15, and what do you expect from it? Also, what do you think of the invasion plan of UCCW? For the second question, I like the idea of the WWE TV invasion to UCCW. I am intrigued. I will be watching out for it. Again, it helps both call leagues, you know, UCCW and WWE TV, and it helps the call world in general, so I'm in support of it, and I will be looking forward to it. As for your question about WWE 2K15, I hope it's good. The reason why I didn't buy WWE 2K15 was because, WWE 2K14 was because, I knew it was an unfinished product. I knew that it was just DHQ that published it, even though, 2K published it even though DHQ still developed it, so I knew it was going to be a crappy game. And it was. Like, just looking at certain call leagues that use WWE 2K14, and just the video clips that I've seen of WWE 2K14, it was just an unmitigated disaster. You can see certain botches and certain things, and you can hear the complaints that certain people had in terms of the story mode and the call creations. It was just a mess. That's why I stick to WWE 13, and I think WWE 13 is better than 2K14 in my opinion. But with 2K15, I hope those situations are fixed. I hope we get a GM mode. I loved the GM mode back in the SmackDown vs. Raw series. I like that. Can we get a new engine, please? Can we get like a new gameplay engine, please? Like a new AI setting, like a new AI kind of sensor, device? Because the one we've been using has been outdated for a decade now. I hope that's one of the major things they change about it. Also, I want them to do more with the creator wrestler section. You know, and I know obviously I'm being biased with that, but you know, give us more options. Give us more options. Make us be more creative. Force us to make us be creative, and it will benefit everybody in the long run. And I expect a lot of great things. I think 2K will get it right. Hopefully they'll get it right just by looking at the certain images for WWE 2K15, especially in one in particular, which I'll get to in a minute. I'm expecting a lot of good things. I hope it does well, in my opinion. Quincy Brown asked me, do you think Sting will join the WWE? He kind of already has. If you guys didn't watch Raw, there was a trailer for WWE 2K15 that involved Sting in his image, and you get the option to play either Crow Sting or Surfer Sting, which I think is awesome. Because even though I grew up with Crow Sting, I just remember my dad watching Surfer Sting back in the days, back in the NWA days, the late 80s, early 90s, and how Sting was really as over. The one thing I appreciate about Sting over all these years was that he was an icon, a legend, and a superstar, and he never, up to this point, worked for the WWE. He never needed the WWE machine to make him a star. He did that on his own with NWA, WCW, and TNA. And I appreciate Sting for that. So I'm glad that he's making business with the WWE now. I think it's deserved, and I think it's the right time. So, but yeah, Sting's already with the WWE, so he's pretty much just joined at this point. Sorry, Darian Rose also asked me another question. Also, I know this is late, but what are your thoughts about the Undertaker's streak being ended by Brock Lesnar? Whew. That's an interesting question because I had two minds going into it. When it actually happened, and some of my friends can attest to this, but when I actually saw Brock Lesnar defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania and give The Undertaker his first loss out of WrestleMania, I was speechless. Yeah, I was like yelling, I wasn't yelling in terms of negativity. I was just yelling in terms of shock. But other than that, I was speechless. Out of all the people that you give the streak ending to, give it to Brock Lesnar? I mean, you're talking about a guy that is, one, a part-timer, two, really doesn't care about the business, he's only there for the paycheck, and three, he may just be wrestling 3 more matches and he is done with pro wrestling, period. And you give the Undertaker streak to Brock Lesnar? You know, at least with Cena ending the streak, and I'm gonna say it, but I would have been more accepting of Cena ending the streak because at least with Cena you would have gotten more options. You could have gotten more benefit towards it. That would have been the trigger to lead us to a Cena heel turn. Or you can do a lot of things, as Cena is already the measuring stick, as he wants to quote himself, of the WWE, and you can use the Undertaker as the passing of the torch or whatever. You could have done a lot more with Cena than you can with Brock Lesnar. So I was shocked, and I was a little bit pissed. But then I thought about it. Again, thinking with my business mind. It had to happen. The Undertaker lately has been looking his age. Period. It feels like every WrestleMania, starting with 27, it feels like every WrestleMania he's been involved with, he struggles to get up after the match. He struggles to compare. He struggles himself to put himself together after the match, or even during the match. So it'd be hard pressed to believe that Undertaker, at this point of his career and age, can defeat a legitimate athlete, a legitimate freak of nature, a former UFC heavyweight champion, a former NCAA champion, a former WWE Undisputed champion in Brock Lesnar, and he's still relatively young. It would have been hard-pressed to see Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar in that regard. So, I understand it. We're going to find out, though. We're going to find out. Apparently, this upcoming SummerSlam is going to be John Cena versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Brock Lesnar must win that match. And I'm telling you that right now. Brock Lesnar must win that SummerSlam match against John Cena. He must become the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship, because my philosophy is you either do it or you don't do it at all. If you're going to give Brock Lesnar Undertaker streak, you must follow through on it. You must legitimize that victory. And having Lesnar come back in and defeat a 15-time WWE World Champion in John Cena would be it. Plus, he needs his win back from Extreme Rules in 2012, which he shouldn't have lost that match to anyways, but whatever. But Brock Lesnar must win that match. If he does not win this match, if Brock Lesnar does not win this match, then him ending the streak didn't mean shit. Brock Lesnar's return back to the WWE since 2012 hasn't mean shit. And Brock Lesnar is no longer a legitimate force or a legitimate threat in my eyes. Period. He must win that match. End discussion. Torrin Anthony Pfluger asked me, my brother, he asked me, when you're done watching tonight's TNA Impact Wrestling in New York City featuring the return of the six-sided rings, what are your thoughts? To answer that, I just did finish watching that show. It was a good show. TNA has been knocking shows out of the park lately since Slammiversary. It's astounding how much TNA looks so great right now as opposed to how crappy it looked a month or two ago. It is astounding. I enjoyed the show tonight. Austin Aries proven to be probably that company's best X Division champion this side of AJ Styles. Lashley as world champion is awesome. I'm telling you that right now. He's a heel, a dominating heel that wins matches clean. When's the last time you've seen that in professional wrestling, period? So Lashley as their world champion is a very great beneficial asset to them. The crowd was great all night, by the way. The crowd was great. You can feel the intensity, you can feel the excitement, the enjoyment, the entertainment between those guys. Knockout match was pretty cool. The bully Dixie thing needs to take a back seat. You need to get away from Dixie Carter. You don't need her. Now, I read the spoilers of the New York City tapings, and I know what's going to happen, but you need to move away from her. She just kind of sucks the life of everything. So hopefully Bully puts her through a table eventually, and so we can move on from her. But yeah, my thoughts on Impact on that show this week was I liked it. I liked it a lot. What are your thoughts on the ESPYs? I did not watch the ESPYs. I don't normally watch award shows because I think it's all bullshit. And I've said that before, I think. It doesn't matter if it's movies, music, television, or sports. I just think all award shows are bullshit and are just a popularity contest rather than what it should be about a person's talent, skills, and just their consistency. It's not about that in award shows anymore. It's just about money, politics, and popularity. That's all it's about. So I don't care to watch it. But Stuart Scott winning, I think, the Lifetime Achievement Award he won, really deserved, very greatly deserved. A guy that has a lot of respect from me, at least, for continuing his job despite his disease and his problems. Drake hosting the ESPYs. I didn't watch the ESPYs, but I saw images of him doing the ear blowing thing onto Lance Stevens, and I'm like, Drake, face to face, almost close with another male. Shocker! Imagine that. Drake always does the most suspect things, and he wonders why people make fun of me because you do suspect shit, Drake. Like, I don't understand. Better than that, stuff like I heard the results of Kevin Durant winning Athlete of the Year. I guess well deserved. And that's coming from a Peyton Manning fan. That's coming from a Broncos fan. And even I'm telling you, Peyton Manning deserved that award. That would have been bull crap if that did. Ronda Rousey winning the Female Athlete of the Year, well deserved. She's becoming one of the most prolific female presence in the sports world today. Best team I think went to the Seattle Seahawks, well deserved. They deserved that Super Bowl win over my Broncos, which I will not go into any further. But other than that, the ESPYs looked good, but I just didn't watch it. And what is your predictions or thoughts on the WWE Battlegrounds 2014? I won't go over the whole card. I'll just go over what interests me. The Fatal 4 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship is pretty much filler for John Cena, so they can get to Cena and Lesnar at SummerSlam. So it's all filler. That match is really not that interesting. So Cena will retain, and I think Triple H will screw Roman Reigns over. So that'll set up Roman Reigns and Randy Orton for SummerSlam, which will eventually lead to probably Survivor Series where it will be Triple H and Roman Reigns. What else is there? Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. I expect Seth Rollins to win. With this ridiculous heel turn you did for Seth Rollins, if you're gonna do it, like I just said, do it or don't do it all. Don't do it at all. You have to go all the way with this. You have to follow through on Seth Rollins. You did with him winning the Money in the Bank contract last month. You gotta follow through and let him beat Dean Ambrose. Now I know I don't want Dean Ambrose to be the third wheel here. He'll get his comeuppance hopefully, but right now, Seth Rollins needs this win to further legitimize him as the real deal and the guy that the Authority picked. You have to legitimize it. You can't have him lose to Dean Ambrose right now, so you can't have that happen. Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho. That should be interesting as well. I'm kind of thinking Jericho needs to win this match because Jericho likes to give a lot of victories to people, and it gets to the point where if you put over wrestlers way too much, you start to devalue your whole status, and you start to value your whole credibility. So, I think Jericho, in a way, needs to win this match. I mean, you already screwed the pooch with Bray Wyatt. I mean, you just had Cena derail him and all of his momentum. You had Bray Wyatt just pretty much become an afterthought at this point. I mean, hell, this week's Raw, when Bray Wyatt was cutting another phenomenal promo. He's probably one of the best promo men in the business right now. But he cut a phenomenal promo, and the crowd chanted boring. Well, screw those guys, first of all, because they're just douchebags. But, in a way, not really, because Bray Wyatt's momentum has been stalled, in my opinion. He's only getting over at this point because he's that damn good, but his momentum has truly been stalled by the Cena feud, unfortunately. So, you might as well have Jericho go over and establish himself as a credible legend. You can't really have Bray Wyatt win here, or else Jericho's return for right now doesn't mean a damn thing. And, is there anything else that interests me in this card? I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it in terms of my interest for WWE Battlegrounds. So those are my predictions of the matches that I am interested about. So, and to close out these questions, and damn, it's only already 50 minutes. I may have to do a separate newscast for the Black WWE Champion topic. I might have to just do that. But Brian Douglas asks, what are your thoughts about Sting being the exclusive playable character by pre-order in WWE 2K14? Well deserved. I think Sting was at a point of his career and his age where he needed to at least make the attempt to do business with the WWE finally after all these years of being a successful icon legend without them. I think the time was right, and I think a guy like Sting is greatly deserved of that honor. I think what this also means, however, is that Sting will be inducted to the Hall of Fame next year in Silicon Valley, and possibly make a WrestleMania 31 appearance. As for him wrestling, well, who would you have him face at this point? I guess the obvious known answer would be Undertaker, but the Undertaker streak is over. That was the whole appeal of that whole match, was because Undertaker's streak was undefeated, and maybe Sting was the guy to do it. But now the streak is gone. So what would be the purpose for Undertaker and Sting to fight? It would only be for nostalgia reasons at that point. And plus, they're getting there at age. Like I said, the Undertaker's age as of late has been showing. He hasn't put out those performances. Although he can still perform and have match of the night, they're not up to par that he used to be. And then if you watch Sting in TNA, you just know that Sting can't really wrestle like he used to as well. So that's an interesting thing. But I don't know who you would, if Sting were to wrestle at WrestleMania 31. I don't know who you could put him against. I honestly don't know. Maybe if The Rock came back, it would be The Rock and Sting. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe you guys should tell me. Maybe that should be the newscast question for this week. If Sting were to wrestle at WrestleMania 31, who do you guys want him to face? I'll put that to you guys, and I'll answer that question next week. So those are my questions and comments this week. So thank you guys for sending your questions and comments, and as always, you can keep sending them to me throughout the remainder of this week, and I will answer them on next week's newscast. And unfortunately, we are 50 minutes into this newscast, so I can't really get into the Black WWE Champion topic and debate. What I think I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to do a separate newscast video about that topic specifically, and I'll let you guys be open for debate and discussion on that topic. So keep on the lookout for probably tomorrow or Sunday for that separate newscast topic for that topic of why the WWE hasn't had a black WWE champion. I have a lot of things to say about it, but I just won't have the time to do it here. So I apologize for the bait and switch there, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for this ACW Newscast number 45. Hope to see you guys in a few minutes and in a few hours, however you're watching this, for Apocalypse, which will be on Blip TV and Veoh. Hope to see you guys there. And as always, I am Hakeem Johnson, telling you guys to stay cool. Stay cool. See you guys later.